Doom: The Dark Ages is the newest entry in the Doom series, and a great game. It's been praised for its story, graphics, and new take on gameplay that still matches that Doom feel. It's a brilliant prequel that improves on everything from modern Doom games, and today we're gonna play this brilliant game and ruin everything about it, because that's what I do best. Yo, what was that? Hey, who's that guy? Slayer? Well, was that one guy? Who's that? Come at me, you punk bitch. Y'all talking shit. Our journey begins in modern-day America, obviously, and immediately after arriving, we begin our quiet stroll through town, examining the beautiful scenery along the way. We walk forwards through the town and nearly get crushed by a falling plane that somehow missed both towers. We leave the controversial jokes with the crash site as we walk away towards our objective. Then, a horde of demons present themselves in an effort to stop our march forward, but obviously, they do not know who they're dealing with. We continue on afterwards, leaving a pile of bodies in our wake, and pass through some houses to a clearing where we receive a care package. Personally, I would have preferred to call in a gun run, but I'll take what I can get. Inside, we find a human hand that we pocket as a snack for later before going inside another building. We climb up a bookshelf and run to what appears to be a perfectly intact school. It's strange that the battle throughout the city had no effect on the comfortable, homey environment all educational facilities strive to achieve. After traveling through the school, we find a church across the street and enter. Inside, we find a group of emo girls performing one of their rituals. Thankfully, this one doesn't demonetize us because it involves vaping rather than razor blade. Can I say this on YouTube? We deal with them before their Gen Z habits hotbox the entire town, and immediately after doing so, we notice a dead guy in the corner of the room. Obviously being a ritual sacrifice, we treat the dead man with the respect that the emo girls didn't, by stealing his keys and leaving without doing anything else. What a gentleman we are. We use the dead man's keys to open a gate in our way and pass through to a massive area filled with enemies. Apparently our crime of stealing from the dead man was noticed by God, and he decided to make us pay for our sins by sending an army of demons our way. After killing close to 100 demons, we get a new objective: defend the beach. Now, to defend this beach, we get to use a machine gun turret, and yes, this totally doesn't remind me of anything from history class. Now that may sound like a nonsense joke, but consider this, Doom guy's also German. We gun down a couple waves of demons and move on from our light work to a true challenge: the big boy. We shoot our foe with what are essentially toothpicks and spitballs until we get to use our secondary fire option. What is that, you might ask? Oh, it's nothing big, just a couple lightning bolts. After several 1.21 gigawatt explosions, we defeat our foe and let him fall to the ground. Then, we discovered that an old man was watching us the entire time, in a similar fashion to a Minecraft YouTuber when they see a child. After noticing him, we immediately drink a recall potion to escape his clutches, because I don't want any Lester the Molester. After escaping the old man and returning to our base, we were forced to avoid our gamer posture and actually stand up straight for once, because our general forgot to say at ease. After giving in to the pain and returning to our hunched state, our shock collar is activated and we get a fun little heart attack from it. Several hours later, we return from the ICU and find that the base has flown to Mars, where we are desperately needed on the battlefield.
That one guy prepped for badass deployment. Launch immediately.
We quickly undergo another badass deployment and immediately receive a care package after landing. Inside we find a saw blade that we gingerly take out to examine before tossing it aside because we're not a carpenter and thus have no purpose for it. Listen, I may be stupid, but I'm not woodshop stupid. We begin our brisk jog through the wonderful scenery and enter a science base that we fight our way to the top of. After doing so, we continue across a bridge to a hospital filled with people in need of medical attention. Being the benevolent helper of society that we are, we run through the crowd of injured citizens telling them only to get over their skill issues, because, let's face it, even that advice is better than what they're going to get from the American healthcare system after they explain that they have no money. From there, we traveled through some vents and hallways to an electrified area that would surely kill us if we walked through it in our highly conductive metal suit. Rather than take off the suit, or better yet, find a way around, we walked directly through and tanked the millions of volts traveling into our heart. We drop down out of the electrified area and heal our exploded heart using some bandages because they are an unstoppable miracle of medicine that can heal everything from tumors to missing organs. Just don't question it. We examine the room around us and notice a completely normal girls' sleepover in progress that has them opening a portal to hell. We deal with them and find one of their fathers not far away because clearly Sleep took priority over making sure his children didn't get into any trouble. We take his credit card because despite honoring how straight his priorities are, I would also like to have money. Our journey through the base continues and leads us to an average American who attacks us under the assumption that we've got McDonald's fries in our back pocket. While I'm fighting here, I would just like to give the audience a fun little fact. This enemy is named after a real mythological demon, except the myths portray mancubi as sexual demons that use their personality to convince people to sin more. Somehow ID Software heard this and made the fattest character ever in a video game, excluding of course this guy. As we shoot this average McDonald's customer repeatedly, the message "I'm loving it" appears on our HUD and we're forced to think about our actions. After defeating the enemy, we find a weapon prototype just hanging around and steal it. Then we go on a long journey through all events before finally coming back into the hallways. We jump down a stairwell that leads us back outside where we find a bridge we're supposed to cross, but as we approach it, a big boy knocks it down. Really? I mean, really. Instead of the scenic route we were planning on taking, we're forced to take the short route down into a pit. After tanking the 10-story fall like a champ and breaking both of our legs, we continue through the lower floors. Guess where we go next? You're never gonna guess. We go into vents. 10 hours of cosplaying as an imposter in the vents leaves us deranged when we finally go back into the halls. There we find a copy-pasted portal from Doom Eternal with many graphical advancements from the past 5 years that make the teleporting animation feel completely unique and not at all identical to Doom Eternal. We emerge from the other side of the portal and go back outside and jump into a crowd of enemies. We fight them for a few minutes before a new foe presents itself. After a few minutes of fighting, we realize it's just another common enemy dressed up in some fancy armor, but defeating it grants us a massive buff of plus 10 HP, so I won't complain. Then the double doors of the hangar open, and inside we find the thing the government has been trying to keep secret for so many years, the final form of an Iron Man suit. After entering the hangar, we ride an elevator to the top of the mech where we find a door in the back. We climb inside to our gamer chair that we control the mech from, and hook ourselves up to what looks like the average setup needed for turning on a PS4. Piloting the mech out of the hangar proves more difficult than originally thought because of my intense flashbacks to the original Armored Core, but we power through. After walking outside, we carefully navigate the structure of the massive science base and approach a big boy that henceforth shall be referred to as the small boy for as long as we are in this suit. After defeating the enemy, we pass through the wall of flesh with a single punch because we're just that good. And on the other side, we see the Iron Giant ruthlessly execute a small boy with a single shot. Then he walks past us saying Superman as he seeks out more enemies so he can expand his kill streak, while we walk the other way towards a supersized care package of ours that has a King Kong-sized gun inside loaded up with nuke-sized bullets that is still somehow classified as a minigun. I'm sorry, but that is not mini by any standards. That's not even a gun, that's the big gun. After a short walk with our new weapon, we reach our objective, a giant Jedi training droid that we've got to rescue. We leave with the droid and make a mad dash to try and get it to safety, but an enemy attacks us on the way. The force of the impact knocks the droid out of our hands. After falling to the ground, it sustains fatal damage to its systems. We angrily strike back at the small boy who attacked us and knock him to the ground, and after doing so, the training probe activates its self-destruct to sacrifice itself for the greater good. And we help the droid complete that task by placing it in the demon's mouth before kicking the enemy off a cliff. As it falls, the droid explodes and disposes of the demon in a noble sacrifice, but as the explosion occurs, the mech's systems fail and we're forced to make an emergency exit. We call for help and dive into a shuttle as it flies by to prevent our demise. Then, after getting inside, our pilot receives orders on where to take us, while we pay for a silent ride and take a nap in the back seat. Several hours later, we arrive at our destination and find that the place is being attacked by demons. We receive orders to defend the barracks and rush inside to do so. On the way, we find a hologram of a plot device that we're supposed to pay attention to, but instead we ignore it because why not? And after continuing past that, a weapon catches our eye. Clearly being the property of a royal princess with its clean, sophisticated look, we steal the Skull Crusher and use it to fight a crowd of demons before putting the weapon away for the remainder of the playthrough. Listen, I don't care if I'm getting shot by 10 guys, I would rather scavenge for shotgun shells than use this inefficient ass weapon. After that, we head outside before immediately returning to the cover of the base because touching grass is very scary. Then we enter a hallway filled with shield guys that prove annoyingly difficult to attack, and after playing a fun game of frisbee back and forth with them, we face the Mancubus at the end of the hall. We fight the enemy with our health rapidly falling, but manage to stun them long enough to go in for a killing blow, except... yeah, I guess that stun really wasn't long enough to go in for a killing blow. After passing through the hallway again, we go to this area where I missed the easiest frisbee throw ever and got startled by the sound of the elevator falling because I swear on my fucking balls, that is the metal pipe falling meme sound. I'm not going insane. Then we pass into this area that doesn't look suspicious at all. Okay, come on, the gold here kinda just feels like the cheese placed inside the mousetrap. Oh, wow, so unexpected. I'm getting ambushed. God, I feel like the kid in Goonies who miraculously knows exactly which treasure is booby-trapped. After that, we go into a hallway where 5 Hell Knights try to jump us because apparently demon is an offensive term. Fortunately, they are not acquainted with firearms and we pass by them with ease. Then we drop down this elevator shaft and shoot this guy on our way into a relatively empty room where we find a ruby in the corner. After that, we find another pit that we dive into, and after falling well over 10 stories for the second time in the playthrough, we land on the hard rock floor of a cave and break both of our legs. In front of us, we notice a care package that somehow made it all the way down here from the dropship, and inside we grab a powerful new weapon known as the staple gun. As we grab it, we get a new objective: reach the dragon's den. Having watched the trailer, I know what's going to happen when we reach that den, and with that to look forward to, we gain a new sense of vitalization that lets us power through walking with all the bones in our lower body being broken. After that, we continue along the path doing more basic Doom shit for way longer than we needed, before reaching a clearing that triggered a cutscene. At first I thought we'd meet the dragon here, but then my hopes were immediately crushed as I watched the Vaginary champion crawl out of his hiding. Wow, that sentence sounds way more sus than I planned it to. After using enough buckshot to tear through a solid tree, we defeat Spider-Man and enter the dragon's den. There we walk over to a platform like a kindergartner on their way to tell the teacher that they shit their pants, and light a trail of gasoline. The light attracts a pair of dragons that start bitching the moment they reach the landing pad before looking up to see what we're here for. Yo, my boy. You ready for a fight? Almost. We saddle up and activate a fighter squadron's worth of weaponry that's taped to the side of our dragon before realizing we forgot our keys. We search for them off camera for several hours and return to saddle up.
Oh my god, you dumb bitch.
Yeah, I know.
How did you forget your keys?
Well, I just left them laying around.
Why?
Well, I don't know.
Oh my god, I cannot believe that you are my owner.
Well, I cannot believe that the check engine light is still on. I thought you said you were gonna fly to the repair shop.
I forgot.
Well, who's the dumb bitch then? We begin flying out of the den and notice the check engine light is still on since last time, but knowing it'll turn off in a few minutes, we ignore it. Then we approach a big boy and attack and dump our powerful hot load. Let me rephrase that. After killing the big boy, we continue flying through the den and have a quick aerial dogfight before making our way out into the open air. We fly to Cloud City, blasting music the whole way to drown out the sound of our struggling engine, and land just before the dragon breaks down. We make our way through hordes of demons while our dragon gets a repair, and as we run inside, we find a care package. Expecting another shitty gun, we half-heartedly crack it open, but thankfully that's not the case because inside we find the one and only super shotgun. With our new weapon, we ruthlessly rip and tear our way through the area, before breaking a thingy as our objective and falling down into yet another pit. This one drops us out into open air instead of landing us on solid ground, and after falling for a few seconds thinking it's over, we land on our now repaired dragon. Using our adequate maneuvering capabilities we just got, we take down several more enemy ships from the safety of our dragon's turret. Then we fly to another area where we fight another Spider-Man and face a horde of demons while doing so. Then we approach this demon guy and a force field blocks our path. Several demons show up behind us trying to ambush us, but clearly they don't know who we are. While we're kindly introducing ourselves to the demons with a firm handshake, the demon guy goes to steal an ancient relic, but a force field blocks his path, so this bitch unlocks the force field, lets him through, and as he's about to steal it, a Minecraft YouTuber old man appears. Upon seeing the Minecraft YouTuber old man, we immediately drink a recall potion once again, purely out of fear this time. He tosses his flashbang at the demon guy and steals the object while it goes off, before escaping in a really badass cinematic way. I would just like to point out that this level lagged my Xbox so bad that I got this neat little time lapse in the footage that was completely natural. After returning to our sky base, we're forced to stand up straight once again because of our general. Yeah, I'm really starting to think that he isn't forgetting. Thankfully, our back feels fine, and we don't need to revert to gamer posture, but there is another problem. We need to make an adjustment.
Holy shit, that one guy's moving. Tase him now.
Oh, don't you fucking dare. Man, I'm just trying to unstick my balls. No. Oh, fuck yeah. Ooh, wonder what that does.
No, don't touch that.
I'm gonna.
No. It's just systems fail.
Just deploy him. As long as he's not here, we get to stay safe.
The floor opens up and drops us in yet another badass deployment, and upon landing we find ourselves surrounded by scared citizens, but we pay them no mind and hurry towards the battlefield. On the way, we find a care package with a flail inside, because in a land of plasma-firing blasters and force fields, a medieval weapon is going to be very effective. We find a horde of demons to close some portals before reaching the item shop. After spending so much time fighting and exploring throughout multiple levels, we check our upgrades tab and find that a whopping 0 upgrades can be acquired. We leave the Shrine of King Arthur and pull one of these, except we don't get run over because we can actually time our parries. Then we get introduced to Arachnotrons for the first time, and, you know, it was particularly fun when a couple of them just started straight up cyberbullying me. Dude, I need a health pack. Come on, this is bullshit. I'm getting shredded out there. Should I try and dash? Should I try and, like, make a mad dash for one? And, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna run and pray I don't get shot in the back. After pondering a way to defeat them, I decide to roll with my caveman instincts because those help me the most when I'm playing Doom. And do you know what those caveman instincts said? They told me to punch it until it dies. And for whatever reason, it was that kind of fuck-ass logic that told me how to deal with these assholes, because now I can follow that strategy, and in less than a second, the fight will be over. Using our new caveman skills, we gleefully eviscerate the many enemies in our way, and continue into a cave. There we find a group of goth kids doing what they always do in their free time. Try to open a portal to hell. We stop their shenanigans and find that the portal still isn't closing, which led me to believe my game was buggier than I thought it was. But in reality, I'm just blind as hell because this guy was here the whole time, holding the portal open by himself. After dealing with the lone cultist, we grab one of the better weapons this game introduced, the Chain Baller. After using this thing a total of once, I forgot about it because why should I remember a mediocre weapon when the only thing I use is the super shotgun? After that we fight a cyber demon that robbed me out of 2 life sigils, but we gain an ammo buff afterwards, so I think it's a fair trade. Then we go to a swamp area of the map and fight some enemies there to close yet another portal, while also opening the door to a cave. We go inside and find yet another satanic circle jerk, opening a portal to hell, and this time, we don't miss any dipshit cultists hiding in the corner. After returning outside, we fight another Spider-Man that's blocking our path into the castle, and as we rush inside, a spectacle unfolds on the battlefield. Of course, I've got no fucking idea what would happen since I'm inside the city walls by that time, but we do know that we heard a loud crash and then the citywide shield deactivated, so let's just leave that to imagination, I guess. To defend the city, we hop in a turret and once again call upon Doomguy's German heritage to defeat our enemies. After gunning down a wave of demons, we start playing aim labs using Lost Souls until a big boy breaks through the castle door. We call upon Zeus for strength as we throw a lightning bolt at the enemy's nutsack and continue on. Then we move into this room? Area, I guess, and smack this cardboard box out of the way so we can enter a secret area. Inside we find a Hell Knight that we dispose of without the use of a single firearm, not because we're out of ammo for the SSG, but because we choose to. Then we drop down at least 100 feet and break every bone below our shoulders when we hit the hard rock ground. We kill a small group of enemies despite our destroyed skeleton and make a full recovery immediately after that using the best medicine known to mankind. Laughter. Why is the leg standing? Bro, this looks like one of those lamps with the leg for the pole. After staring at the disemboweled leg for way longer than we had any right to, we moved to the next area and failed to climb up a simple area, not once, not twice, but 7 times. It took that much work to climb up there, and the first thing we do after that is jump down into the next area to progress. In the next area, I got jump scared by a Hell Knight and turned him into a red mist of strawberry jam with a single shot. Then a dilemma presented itself when my Wi-Fi did what it does best, and the recording shitted the bed. When everything was working again like normal machinery does, I was in a dining room quite a bit farther along the map. From there, we continue outside and dive off a ledge towards what looks like our objective. Despite having jumped farther a few minutes ago, this fall kills us somehow, and after respawning at the top of the ledge, we continue through a crowd of enemies, when suddenly, real-world responsibilities strike at us from the shadows and we're forced to pause for a couple hours. After returning to the game, we continue forwards, stop once again for real-world responsibilities, and return to the game in full to do the exciting task of going down an elevator. Upon reaching the lower floors, we climb some cardboard boxes up to a large area filled with enemies. We defeat them and smash through this wall to get inside this crashed ship. And then we drop through a hole in the floor and fall another 100 feet onto a hard metal platform, where we break both of our legs again. Then we struggle to figure out where to go next, before climbing up to a platform filled with a horde of enemies. Before we continue past this, like we normally do, let's just take a moment to have peace and enjoy the scenery. Alright, enough of that. Now watch this drive. After that, we defeat the remaining enemies, including this Hell Knight that grants us a health bonus upon death, and then we scale this wall, climb across some support beams, over to this shield jump that I very nearly missed. After that, I went to the item shop, and midway through buying items, God granted me another amazing gift. More bad Wi-Fi. I'm not sure how much footage I lost because as of discovering this, it has been 3 days since I recorded, and I only played each level once, so I don't remember much about them. But anyway, let's continue.
Filthy Minecraft YouTuber. How many kids in your basement?
None.
Liar.
I'm not a pedophile.
Then why do you always stare at that one guy?
I watch over him when he's mind controlled to make sure he doesn't do anything rash.
Hey! Hands off my grandpa.
What the fuck? Are you mind controlled?
Ow! Well, what the whose grandma is this?
I will have you know that I am only 42 years old.
Okay, boomer.
Are you a little...
Okay, if you're so young and lively, why are you struggling to hold me back?
Respect your elders.
Well, that was easier than I thought. Alright, give me this shit. With this, I'll be able to prove you're a bad.
Why don't you look inside then?
Where are the children?
Under there.
Underwear.
Uh-huh. You said underwear.
Oh my f***ings, I'm getting too old to be running like this.
After failing to kill the demon guy, we escape to a base where our grandpa's being healed. While there, we examine the device used to mind control us, while a woman gives us an explanation about why everyone's doing what they're doing, and basically explains the whole overarching plot of all of it. She explains that the demon guy was interrogating our grandpa about a group of kids because the witch told him to do so. The demon guy simply wants to save the kids, but ever since Hansel and Gretel escaped, the witch has been after a Thanksgiving feast of children. While she explains all this, we fix up our super shotgun because despite the fact that it was working perfectly this whole time, we might as well tighten some bolts because what else are we gonna do? Make eye contact and hold a normal conversation?
Hello? McFly? Anybody home in there? God, why don't you respond? What are you? Retarded?
We nod our head as we leave to show that we were listening, despite the fact that we didn't hear a single word she said.
I just feel like an ass for asking that.
We're dropped off in the middle of a forest that we rush through, thinking that it is just like a really decorative section for explorers who want to 100% the game. We quickly learn that isn't the case when we find a door barring us from the next section. The key to this door is one short walk to the left and a small fight away, but it took me 10 minutes to find it. I can't remember why I maxed out the stupid part of the skill tree in my brain, but could somebody buy me a stat reset, please? After finding our way towards the key, we meet a new enemy. The snake. I've always hated these enemies. In Doom Eternal, they were bad enough, but they might be worse this time around. After dealing with the snakes, we walk into a cave and find some dude who will be considered sleeping because YouTube is a real when it comes to guidelines. We steal the keycard off the sleeping man and open the door from earlier, and once through, our objective changes to find way through barracks. So I guess this outdoor demon-filled area of the forest is technically the barracks or something, but I don't know, I really don't think this is a great place to sleep. We continue on from our questions to find an armored enemy that steals a life sigil from us before we steal its heart and a plus 10 armor buff that comes with it. After that, we explore this torn down castle area and miss the easiest shield throw of my life 4 straight times. Then we hop in a turret and accidentally channel Doomguy's German heritage a bit too much, resulting in an explosion that destroys the entire thing. After causing such a loud sound, we move slower and try staying quiet a little bit to stick with the whole stealth thing that this force would do great with. Then we abandon the loosest idea of stealth upon reaching a care package with a grenade launcher inside. With our explosive weapon in hand, we break everything on our fast track to the end of the mission. We reach a door that looks like the end and kill a few basic enemies before approaching it. Unfortunately, the noise of our explosive weaponry has attracted some unwanted attention, and now we must fight the oh goddamn champion if we wish to end the level. Going into the fight, we power through our disgust and attempt to use something other than the super shotgun, and after a long and grueling time using the grenade launcher, we return to the caveman tactics and finish the fight shortly thereafter. Yeah, I'm starting to think the super shotgun might be a little bit unbalanced. After the fight, we pass through a pair of pointlessly large doors that open the moment we approach them, despite the fact that no one is operating them and there are no pressure plates on the floor. Then we enter the place we took the whole level to reach. The word I cannot pronounce nor understand, forge. As we enter the forge and begin our calm stroll through the halls, we notice several sharply dressed employees. Apparently the working conditions here aren't exactly top-notch though, because all of them appear to be extremely angry at the fine establishment they work for. We pass by them and continue to our objective, but several demonic beings appear in an effort to stop our conquest. Unfortunately, this fight is fairly difficult as opposed to the boss fight we just came from, because the many employees around here hate the corporation they work for so much that they are willing to side with literal hellspawn if there's the slightest chance of them tearing down the business they work for. We don't falter in our fight against the many unarmed civilians who sided with the demons and reach our objective before we operate machinery we're not qualified to use because we were told to do so. After that, HR comes downstairs to see what all the racket is about, and upon seeing us, they call the demon police because they clearly don't understand what we're known for. After dealing with the enemies, underpaid employees, and middle-aged HR workers, we continue to our next objective. Guess what that is? Operating more machinery we're not qualified to operate. Then, we do the same thing again, fighting more HR employees this time, and even more demon police because they finally showed up after like 5 straight minutes of them driving to the donut shop on the way. After operating machinery we're not qualified to use 3 times, we then go to another area where we do some sick parkour, die a couple times, do the sick parkour again, and reach a cool room where the girl is. In the next room, the girl reveals that she was lying about being disabled and takes off the prosthetic arm costume she was wearing. Then she activates some machinery she's not qualified to use because we already did it 3 times and she's got to take one for the team. Then, the illegal operations behind the forge reveal themselves upon activation. Apparently, the Forge has been using its skills to forge connections to the world of crime, and now they've stolen Walter White's meth recipe for use long after his unfortunate demise. Rather than report this to law enforcement and risk both us and the girl being arrested for machine operation without a license, we melt down some of the drug and drop it onto our shield so we can upgrade it. Striking enemies with it will now induce an overdose while also hurting them with the force of the impact. Then we turn around with our newly upgraded shield and find the noise of activating the Forge combined with the illegal action of doing so has drawn the attention of every single employee and demon in the building. With our shield in hand, we rush forwards to attack the 40 demons, 22 employees assisting them, 8 middle-aged HR workers trying to punish us for our illegal actions, 6 managers trying their incompetent best to organize the employees, and after defeating all of them, we then turn to face the general manager of this building. The employees around us cheer as we defeat their employer, and we receive an ammo upgrade upon doing so that we promptly use to defeat the employees around us for siding with the demons, no matter how short and uneasy of an alliance it was. After arriving in, we travel through what looks like the beautiful forest scenery of Los Angeles and fight an initial wave of enemies before finding a care package. Inside lies yet another explosive weapon we'll never use, and after shoving it up our ass to store it, we continue through another pair of unreasonably large doors. Then we stand there for a moment to really take in the sight of this dumpster fire of a dimension. After that, we fight a couple hellified McDonald's customers doing this sick jump over a bunch of projectiles that certainly would have killed us instantly had we accidentally fallen through them. Then we examine the many fleshy amalgamations growing throughout this world and get lost doing so because I can't ever see the bright marker that says objective on it. Our directionless wandering takes us to this fun area where we are attacked by tentacles on all sides. One short extermination later, and we are free to grab the gold in this area. Then we get back on track and meet a cyber demon when we reach our objective. One life sigil later, and we steal the health upgrade in our enemy's chest, before jumping up a tower and breaking another one of these things to deactivate some cannons, evidently. After that, we deactivate another cannon at another tower and open one of these teeth door dental dam things. On the other side, we steal a AA battery and spend a ridiculously long time searching for the battery port on the mech, and after eventually finding it, we power it up. As we climb inside the mech, the room loads in for us to watch, but we ignore it and move over to the control panel. Instead of finding a gaming setup in the cockpit like with our mech, there's an uncomfortable metal chair that looks like it came straight from a police interrogation room, and the control panel is built out of caveman technology like an Xbox controller. We begin the mission with our mech blue screening in front of our eyes, but even though we can't do anything, our stick drift allows us to move forwards. Walking nearly breaks the mech, so once we regain control, we decide to take it a little bit slow from that point on, by first jumping 100 feet straight down into a pit of lava. Then we explode a wall of flesh with a single punch because despite this mech's destroyed systems, it's still just that good. And after that, we destroy a nether fortress as we crash down towards some enemies. We bitch smack a couple small boys and dive down to a courtyard area where we find a conveniently placed skyscraper-sized care package that made it down from the dropship and either built itself a nether portal, dug down 1,500 tiles, or made its way through the man-sized portal we came through. After finding the package, we crack it open to find another shotgun variant inside. Now, y'all know I play like a caveman and only use the super shotgun, so you know how much I love that thing. But listen to me closely when I say this is better. Listen, I did the math, and this thing comes out as a 0.05 gauge shotgun, and the math never lies.
Don't question it.
Anyway, it's an automatic rotating quad barrel shotgun, and since it's a 0.05 gauge, it means that one pellet from this bad boy is the size of a bowling ball and weighs just under 2 pounds. Using this weapon of world-ending mass destruction finishes the fight quickly, and we continue past the area to a bridge. Our path forward across the bridge is cut off by a gap, and unfortunately science said no to this thing jumping, so we're forced to drink a fire resistance potion. Alright, I'll stop with the Minecraft jokes, and swim through. We grab onto the ledge on the other side, and climb out of the mech to continue. Making a pit stop at the item shop, we discover that we still can't upgrade the super shotgun, and ignore everything else being offered. Then we grab a shield upgrade and a bird bath, and go through a series of long, uneventful fights that ends with You'll never guess, another unreasonably large door opening. We find this gold-filled room inside, with more creepy stuff hanging from the ceiling than that one scary train cart in the Polar Express. And after stealing everything the room has to offer, we don't get ambushed for some reason, and we continue. In the next room, we find the final fight of the level, and after an easy battle with absolutely no deaths or hiccups whatsoever, we steal an armor upgrade from the boss. Then the level ends shortly after with what I assume was a cutscene. Why do I assume? Because real-world responsibilities came up, and the cutscene played out without me recording it, and instead of replaying the whole level for one cutscene that I'm not even going to voice over, I'd rather skip it and get this video done on time. We return to the base where our grandpa is being healed, and find on arriving that, number one, the lighting underneath is way too graphically advanced for my hardware, because I'm guessing that isn't how it's supposed to look, and two, that the place is being ambushed by demons. As the first wave of the attack begins, we get trapped in a room surrounded by 6 doors, all of which we do not yet have the clearance to open. Life is ironic sometimes, eh? After a few hours of the demons attacking the base, one of their more powerful smacks knocks open one of the many exits this room has. Now, the reason I say exits instead of doors is because, for some fucking reason, all of the developers of this game are still living in 2020 or some other time playing Among Us, because why else would they put so many vents in this game? Either that or they're huge Die Hard fans, which I respect infinitely more than the alternative. With a profound reluctance, we enter the vents. We eventually get out of the vents and fight through 2 consecutive battle areas before reaching this hallway. What is this hallway? Pain. This hallway brought more deaths than any boss fight or important fight or anything else in this playthrough. The number of normal enemies alone already requires some form of effort, but they also threw a fucking snake one of these, and in total, all of this bullshit resulted with me dying 21 times, most of which I didn't record out of both embarrassment and hatred. Then I finally got through all of it off camera through the power of easy mode, raw game sense, and not using the super shotgun for once, and reached the next area. Okay, so I actually heard about some game sense, let's call it, where if you climb a ledge and open the map at a very specific time, you can teleport to wherever you look. Like, it allows you to skip entire levels, or, well, in my case, just annoying sections, like the one I just fucking went through. Anyway, I haven't heard much about this, and I don't know if it's possible on console, so, I'm just gonna keep trying it for a few minutes, and... oh. Well, I guess it is possible. Using our new game sense, we conquered the hurdle that is the final fight and beat the rest of this level in mere seconds. Listen, I don't want to hear any bitching in the comments about how easy that final fight was. I spent close to an hour mastering that trick, because the time you just saw was the best case of beginner's luck I have ever seen. Climbing aboard our dragon, we turn everything on and thankfully don't forget our keys this time. Then we fly out to defend the base and find that a bunch of massive hentai tentacles have begun to violate the area, so we put an end to their existence before any problems arise. After a few minutes, our damage scares off the last one, and all tentacles return to the dark realm from whence they came. But as the battle seems to end, the portal reopens and a single massive tentacle rushes out. It wraps around one of the towers and removes the top half and carries it over to the dark realm of Rule 34 with it, and inside, this fat piece of shit is coming with it. But rather than let the tentacles take him and torture him for all eternity, we have to soothe our own vengeful needs and kill him ourselves, so we rush in after him. As the tentacles return back to their dimension, the portal closes and we miss our chance at revenge. Or do we? The next mission takes place on an island that looks like Halo Reach, except there's a BFG laying around for us to steal, and a giant alien egg with Cthulhu inside. The reason I'm summarizing all this is because router no like me, internet problems.
Can't pay electric bill.
Anyway, we free Cthulhu using the BFC, and jump on his back while he flies through the portal above the island. Why didn't we just fly through the portal on our dragon? Nobody will ever know. After that absolute ordeal with the footage, we begin the next level, and so early in the beginning, only a few small things can be determined. Like the fact that this level's gonna look like a frickin' acid trip the whole time. Now, I actually lost the footage of the first cutscene, but here's a quick little synopsis. We're in Doom's version of hyperspace, or warp if you're a Star Trek fan, and we jump out in this really cool glowy light sequence that totally doesn't look like somebody made it on drugs. Then we land in some sewers and swim through filthy shit water of another dimension, like a true member of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And then we climb out into what looks like the Jedi Temple, after it got eaten by a dream and shit into ID Software's hands. After making our way through the place for a while, we reach the armory and find a bone club sitting around with the lightsabers. With our new weapon in hand, we get absolutely obliterated within 2 seconds of fighting, but after switching back to our old tactic of fisting our enemy's skin off, do not take that out of context, we defeat them easily, and check our map to see how much longer this level's gonna take. You know, not for any other reason, or anything. Then we reach this place, and God, have I got something fun to tell you.
I fucking hate this place.
We open an exit door in the distance through this shield throw thing, I can't remember what it's called, and we get to upgrade our super shotgun. Now having a maxed out weapon, we gleefully jump through the portal to the exit, eager to test out our weapon of mass destruction. We walk out into the next level and find what looks like the home of that thing from Annihilation. 2 bright objective markers on either side of our HUD call to us, and for once, we follow them. The first one leads us to a giant hentai tentacle, and after a short we continue on with the mission. We find this anus-looking door thing, and are treated with the labyrinth experience for several minutes before realizing that the circle is infinite. Yes, I know I'm stupid, I'm descended from an ancient race of game journalists. After turning around and grabbing the reward for our efforts, we try to figure out how this thing works, and then continue after not figuring it out. Not long after that, we go through a fight where we finally get to test our upgraded super shotgun. With our new weapon, we absolutely ravage our enemies, and receive an ammo upgrade as a reward. Then we find a liquid circle with a senseless object inside that makes no sense to me, no matter how I look at it. Honestly, my guess is that it was just one of those obscure toys you buy from a random store during a road trip, because on the box it looks like super cool, but then when you open it and it requires like assembly or something, but no matter how hard you try, you just can't put it together because you think there's like a missing piece, or just the instructions have like a page ripped out or something, because just, you know, nothing makes sense, and then it just ends up being this half-constructed mess of a toy that your friend spots on your shelf one day and says that it kind of looks like the top half of an anime character from some obscure comic or something that you would never know because you just don't watch anime. Or maybe that's just me, I don't know. We find the second half of the toy and take it to this Jedi Temple place where we put both halves of the toy in a random energy cloud, and the two of them connect using these weird tentacles inside them. We take our now fully constructed toy and place it in this bed of tentacles that instilled a lot of weird questions when I was playing this, like, is that the house from Finding Nemo? Or, if I put my hand in there, would it get eaten? Or, if a girl sat on the toy sinks into the tentacles, and in the process, it opens a door. Then we walk through that door to the next level where we find another door, but this one leads outside to a battle in the strange environment of the Dream Dimension. Here on the other side of the Jedi Temple, the environment has transitioned from what looks like a graphically advanced ocean monument to a weird purple place. We begin a nature walk through the environment, quietly examining the animal life from afar and trying our best to go around it. Some of the more aggressive wildlife spots us, and we are unfortunately forced to defend ourselves, but we escape, mostly unscathed, and get away. Based on the animals we encounter, we deduce that this must be Australia and dive into the beautiful ocean that we know is there. We swim through the beautiful underwater environment, encountering a small octopus along the way through the reef, and reach another beach. Here we find a harbor with a bunch of ships docked there, but unfortunately the global warming of this dimension has evaporated the ocean and beached these mighty vessels. We salute what are surely the fallen friends of Jack Sparrow, and shortly after that, we reach an area with all sorts of creatures from this country, leading the demonic beings in the charge towards us. Here, we are forced to fend off 2 Australians, a Florida man, the average Australian spider, another Australian, riding a Komodo dragon, a bat, and a bunch of basic demons dumber than dirt and slower than everything. Because of this deadly ecosystems additions, we die. Several times. But eventually, we channel the power of God himself to defeat them all, just barely. We open a portal and jump to the other side, only to realize it was a troll and that there was never anything there. We get jumped by a bunch of demons immediately after the prank, and after fighting through a bunch of them, we decide to game sense to the end instead. After this fails, we fall through an endless void and meet God at the bottom. Then we load a checkpoint to try again, and meet God for the second time in the past 5 minutes. After that, we play the game as it was intended and reach this platform and realize we're standing in the center of a giant's hand. We're then lifted up and finally notice the half-a-kilometer tall Titan that somehow stayed dead silent and entirely hidden for 15 minutes until the moment we were within his grasp. This giant Cthulhu picks us up, looks us dead in the eyes like a TSA agent when you ask the slightest question about anything, and eats us quicker than this guy. One rage-filled filler mission later, and we find ourselves back at the area where we got eaten, except now the giant's dead. We walk through the door we opened earlier and find the average school stairwell on the other side. One eternity of leg-cramping stair climbing later, and we reach the mechanically impossible temple at the top where we find the girl who we never listened to. Our grandpa actually contacted us off camera earlier saying that he wanted us to save her, so we get to work trying to take her out of the tractor beam and get smacked in the arm by a magical HR employee standing behind her.
Ow! What the hell are you doing? Who are you?
I am from Human Resources downstairs, and I am defending this young woman. I'm trying to save her. Sexual assault is a crime. I will report you, but first, a punishment for your actions.
I'm trying to help. She's in trouble.
Hello, HR.
You're here? But I thought you couldn't come near this woman ever since I filed that harassment. You aren't allowed here. Away, demon, away!
Fun fact. That little conversation I had with this woman that prompted you to try and get me fired. I was proposing to her. We're getting married.
No? That's not true? That's impossible!
Search your feelings. You know it to be true.
No! No! With no more argument from the HR employee, they have no power and fall silent, while the demon guy marries the woman in a strange ritual only demons perform. The roasts the HR employee so bad that they quit, and the authority of their job is passed on to the demon guy and the woman we don't listen to, so they may be forever bonded through sharing that power. We watch in horror as the demon guy grows in strength from the marriage, to the point at which no one is strong enough to stand between him and the kids that he's after. Back at the base, our grandpa has fully recovered and is wondering where we are. And then a hologram of the Fat Maker shows up, and he says that we were killed by the demon guy, but that the girl is on her way, so, everything's alright. Then the portal opens, and grandpa thinks it's the girl, but then the demon guy comes out and announces that he married the girl. Our grandpa gets angry over both our death and because he wanted the girl, but the demon guy leaves before anything can go down. We wake up surrounded by Cthulhus and remember that the gem on our armor can do weird energy shit and grab it. This time, a computer doesn't yell at us to stop, and before our impulsiveness wears off, we remove it from our armor and hold it up to impress the Cthulhus. Then it explodes, and we fall into the acid pit below, pulling a Terminator 2 on our way under. After that, we dream about our grandpa telling us a peaceful bedtime story.
Against all the evil that hell can conjure, all the wickedness that mankind can produce, we will send unto them only you. Rip and tear until it is done.
We begin making our way through this dimension, killing many of our fellow demons on our journey. We swim in some blood and reach a battle area that killed me more than I care to admit, and then we reach this hallway that I've affectionately named the hallway. A while after that, we find this blue skull that we steal because I'm sure that won't draw any attention whatsoever. Hey, sorry to cut in on the action, but internet shitbed I know have recording. Then we use the skull to unlock an elevator that takes us up to a new area where we find a red skull. We use it to unlock the door forwards, and we reach an area with a bunch of souls slowly walking forwards, and rush past them to a gate barring the way to the mortal realm.
Hey man, I'm freezing. Is it just me or is it really cold here? Can I feel your hand real quick? I don't mean it in like a gay way. I just think
It's just you.
We walk through the gate and make our way along some docks before jumping aboard a boat. There we fight a bunch of enemies in a battle that took me a hell of a lot of attempts, and after that we break into the bridge where we commandeer the ship. We turn the ship from its directionless voyage and put the engine on full throttle as we aim for a random building. Then we crash through the gates of the building like an idiot and climb the escalator to heaven. After falling off the escalator doing a parkour section, we fall down to above hell, but definitely below the mortal plane. Here, a kind man by the name of Slenderman wakes us up in the middle of a forest and makes sure we're alright before leaving, but he gives us an apology because apparently he has to go walk his kid home from school or something like that, I can't remember. We walk through the pretty forest for a while and find a pool of Jell-O that we dive into because, as a wise man once said, it's any kid's dream come true to dive in a pool of Jell-O or something like that, I can't remember. As we belly flop in, some more weird shit happens and we wake up in a cardboard box full of this Jell-O that's slowly draining. We climb out and realize that it definitely wasn't Jell-O after seeing the writing around the box. We get angry, but realize that we aren't dead as fuck anymore, so we decide to forgive the people who put us in this box by taking our helmet and storming off where they'll never see us again. We run through the forest and find a massive battle with tons of objective markers, but no clear place to go. Instead of searching for specific things, we wander around aimlessly fighting and exploring for half an hour before our dragon comes down to meet us. We saddle up and fly up into the sky where we find the Fat Maker's home. We fly towards it and shoot out the cannons defending it before landing. Then we easily make our way through the base because Maker drones never hit their shots, and after a few seconds, we reach him. He channels his Discord mod powers and sends a bunch of others to attack us because he can't reach us from his mobility scooter, but we destroy his many minions and fight the fat guy with our bare hands. Then we kick him out the window and jump down where he tries to crawl away, but we grab him and pull him back towards us.
Please, don't kill me. I'm a changed man. I can help you out. You don't need to.
Nah, fuck you. You brainwashed me to forget I had a grandpa. After giving the enemy what I assure you was a quick and painless execution, we leave and let him lay there like Walter White. Then we go back to the Sentinel base, where we find our grandpa and a giant Iron Man suit for us to wear. Sir, his suit won't be ready in time. Give him yours.
You think he's ready?
Yes, of course he's ready. He's been ready since he was 5. We learn from our grandpa that he actually has a giant Iron Man suit too, and that his suit is the Iron Giant. It is truly saddening that the Iron Giant is not real, and we take it very hard. But we swap suits with him and walk out of the hangar in the Iron Giant suit. Then we rush forwards across the battlefield, punching out small boys along the way, comboing the shit out of them. We destroy a bunch of random buildings as objectives, and after doing so, we turn to meet the demon guy's army with him at the lead. Rather than use the really powerful cannons shoulder-mounted to our suit to, shoot his ship down or just shoot him, we climb out so we can fight him one-on-one, because we're an idiot. This boss fight was not fun. I died. A lot. And in lots of different ways. Remember, I have to parry all of his unceasing attacks, fight these blood statues, destroy these spires, and all the while, I have to try attacking this asshole. Eventually, God smiled on an attempt of mine, and I got him down a phase. With that, I started picking up momentum again, but it's safe to say that didn't last long. Somehow, I killed him again after he got stronger, and at last, the fight was over. We attack him with a powerful punch that he blocks? Then he stabs us in the stomach and throws us backwards, and after that, our dragon comes to our defense, not out of love for us, but because the demon guy owes him a few pennies from a poker game 10 years ago. This fight'll be interesting, In the injured guy's corner, we have a crazy powerful cyborg dragon, and in the other, we've got the demon guy. Let the fight begin! And it's already done. The dragon's death fills us with new rage that empowers us beyond our godly measures, and with this new invigoration, we grab our gun as we rise to our feet. Our enemy smiles, eager to see our true power, and holy shit, that was easy. We grab the demon guy's necklace and remove it from him in the most painful way possible, and in exchange for the torture ending, he says he'll divorce the girl and leaves while the girl comes down to the battlefield. Here, you take the necklace, you go break the news to her. I'm kinda hungry, I'm gonna go get something to eat. After a pit stop at a restaurant, we go back to hell in search of the demon guy and find his ship. We rush towards it and scale the wall while he watches us from either an invisible drone with a camera or an invisible security camera on the wall. Then we break inside and find both him and the bitch. They both shout that we'll never get the kids back because apparently they found them, but apparently they also didn't prepare for this fight. We stun the witch and go to attack the demon guy when she tries to backshot us with some magic. We block it with our shield and reflect the beam back at her.
No, I was trying to save the kids. I need them.
After throwing our shield through the witch, the entire ship starts coming down and crashes violently. We search through the rubble and find the demon guy laying in it crying about the bitch, and we learn that she was actually his grandma, and that she told him to save the kids, but that the moment they were saved, she locked them in her basement instead. With this exposition scene finished, we now understand the full plot of the game perfectly, and decide to go out with a bang by attacking the camera with our flail. A couple of swings should take out the cameraman and shatter the fourth wall, so while this is happening, I would just like to say how much